In our previous lesson, we briefly described how programs get stored in computer's memory and how they can get executed. And then we drew the analogy between the natural language like English and a programming language like C. Now, in this lesson, we are going to have some real action. We are going to write our first C program. It's a tradition that when we learn a new programming language, the first program that we write in that language is to print hello world on screen. So let's write this program. The first thing that we need required is require an editor to write our program. So what I will do is I will not use a special editor. I will just open notepad, and if you are some on other system, then you can select your own note editor. So now let me write the C program. So the first line will be hash symbol hash include, then less than sign, then stdio dot h, then you have a greater than sign. So stdio dot h is within angular brackets. Things are case sensitive here, so make sure you are right in lowercase letters. This line is saying that I wanted to use the functionalities of C library that we call standard input and output library, or just stdio.h. I will come back to explain what a library is. I'll just move on for now. The next line that I'll write is int, then space, and then I'll write mean, that is main. Then I will open parenthesis and close, and then I'll go to the next line and type and opening curly brace, and then on next line I will type a closing curly brace. We'll write this much of code in all programs. This is the basic skeleton. Now I'll quickly explain what we'll have really do. A C program is organized in entities that is called as functions. You must be knowing the functions in mathematics. Let us take an example of the mathematical function. F of x is equals to x squared is my function. So here is a box that gives an input and gives out some output. So it will give something else that we apply. If we will be giving function 2, so if I give 2, it will give 4. If I give 5, it will give 25. So it gives a square. You can think of the function in programming something like this. You can give a nice name to your function, and then you can define what all the function will accept inside. Whatever you give to a function in C is called argument, and you can have more than one argument. So you can have arguments, and whatever you get back from the function is called return. In program, whenever we have written so far, these lines after hash include stdio.h are basic structures of a function. First line of the function contains a definition of the function. The first part, definition, will tell you what the function will return. In here, here means that integer and integer before the start of the parenthesis. What we have is the name of the function. So this function has a name main, and right now there is nothing inside the parenthesis, but inside the parenthesis you define what all function what all the function will accept has arguments. A function may not need arguments, and a function sometimes may not return anything. After the definition of the function, we must have an opening curly braces, and then we can have some statements to perform some task. We can have as many hash statements as we want. After all the statements, we must a closing curly brace. Closing curly brace will mark the end of the function. Whatever in between the opening and closing brace is what we call as a body of the function. Statements are executed sequentially. A function in program is basically an entity that can perform a specific subtask. In a C program, you must always have a function named main. The execution of your C program always starts with first statement in the main function. You can write function of your own, but there are some pre-written and pre-implemented functions in C to perform some important task, and these functions are organized in what we call libraries. the first line hash include stdio.h is basically saying that I am going to use some functions that are defined in stdio.h library, which we also call as standard input and output library. This library contains something called as printf that prints. So now I'm calling the printf function. To call a function, first we need to write the name of the function, and then within the parentheses you must give the arguments, if any. To printf we can give the arguments something like this within the double quotes, and we can type whatever we want. And here I want to print hello world. Every statement in C must be terminated with a semicolon. It's a rule, so here we are putting the semicolon. There is some last statement that is main is defined to return the integer, that is return, then after the space 0, then semicolon close. So at the end of your main function you must write the statements return 0 for any other function that is defined to return integer. If you would like not to have the explicit return statement like this, you will get error. But for main function, even if you skip writing return 0, your program will work. It is good to write this for the sake of consistency. Okay, so this is all we need to require for printing the hello world. So I will save this file in the same dialogues file, then all files, then I will be giving the file name something like hello world.c. So just I created a C source file to print the hello world, and now we need to compile and run this program. To compile, we require a compiler. I am going to use a compiler named GCC, which is a standard compiler for C. On a Linux machine you do not need to install the C. It's really there. On Windows you need to install. So we'll talk how to install the C later on. I am on the Windows machine where I'm having the GCC. So first I need to open the command prompt in the Windows. So let me open the command prompt from the run cmd. Let me type. Then let me press OK. Then here let me write GCC command, and if you get the information no input files, and that is so if you are getting there is no GCC, then there would have been not then it would have been given like C is not present. So here hello world.c where we have saved. So first let me go to the directory, that is the path. So cd space, then I'm in the micro directory, so I'm into that one. Now I'll be writing gcc hello world.c. Now you can type the same command on the Linux. Now let me press enter. So there is no errors, so no messages present, so it got compiled successfully. So now you can find like something called as a is generated, that is a.exe. So this is an executable file, and so now here I can double click, but it will come, it will flash and it will go. So before we see the output, it is going to get finished. So in order to run the program, so let us run it on the terminal here. So the command is a.exe. On Linux it is a.out, and then press enter, and you will be having the output here. If you are able to do this much, then congratulations, you have run the first program in C. Please note that there are a lot of compilers that gives very good UI, in which you will be having an editor, so you can run the program, you can compile the program, and to detect and to debug even. So there are so many compilers. So right, so this is it's for this lesson. So thanks for watching.